Hello everybody, hello YouTube. My name is Wrektar and I wanted to start a small series just to help out um, anybody who is interested in not modding, but managing servers, or if you're just a player who wants to know a little bit more about dinosaurs, what they like, how they operate. And a while back, one of my friends who plays Ark told me about this website called Dododex. Uh, Bright side about it is also for Apple, for the Apple Store. I don't know what that's called. It's just basically for any app store uh, for apps and whatnot for your phones and things and tablets. But basically, what it allows you to do is allows you to personally change the taming calculators and see what the base taming calculator is for official ranked servers. Shows you how long and what you will need for each type of knockout. Um, some dinosaurs require knockout tames, whereas other dinosaurs require passive tames. There's even the savage tame from the Troodon. Um, and other dinosaurs, although they are a knockout tame, the Titanosaur and Rock Golem, both are knocked out not from tranks, but from concussive damage from rocket launchers, boulders, what else? I'll go over that the rest, but there's different types of taming, how efficient it is, what you'll need. So yeah, it allows you to see starve timer and torpor timers, meaning how long it's going to take for them to hit zero food and start taking damage, how long it'll take for them to actually wake up. Shows you the creature stats. There's even a super cool stat calculator. We'll go over that further on in the video. There's stat rankings, like which one's the best out of what. There's also the gathering efficiencies. Like some dinosaurs gather certain resources better, like the Moschops. It has the unique ability to gather uh, every single one of those rare resources, like sap, organic polymer, um, you name it, rare flowers, rare mushrooms, raw prime, uh, things like that, and it will show you a matchup of all the other dinosaurs that do that, like the thorny dragon and the castoroid, aka the beaver. Both are great at getting wood, but that's not their only secret, and we'll go over the rest of that. It also goes over the kibble recipes and charts, so if you're ever wondering how to make a certain type of kibble, this will show you the exact ingredients you will need for it. It'll also show you the breeding times, meaning how long and how often they can breed. Like some dinosaurs are 8 hours, some are 24. I don't really know the exact. There's also egg incubation temperatures. This means like wyverns, they need it real hot, whereas some other dinosaurs don't need it as hot. And if it's not the right temperature or within the right range, the egg will start taking damage and die. There's also strategies and taming tips from thousands of Ark players. This website and this app has a very large player involvement, so it's all based off of what real Ark players have found. You can also change the multipliers if, say, you're on an unofficial server and they have like breeding times 20 or something crazy like that, or gathering rates times X and things like that. Also, how much food they're going to need, depending on how fast that is. Saddle details and crafting. So if you want to know how to make a saddle, this will show you how. Also, this website and app is great for letting you know which flyers can pick up what dinosaurs. Also, will show you what dinosaurs can hurt what kind of buildings. Now, this isn't going to be the exact same if you're playing on a complete overhaul like Extinction Core, because Gigas can hurt metal on that, but whereas real ones on the official servers cannot hurt metal. It'll also show you the chance of death, uh, the probability, of course, of you dying using a certain taming or a certain way of knocking things out. Like if you're using a boomerang to knock something out, say you're trying to knock out a theory, you're probably going to die. It might say like something like 100%, but I've seen people do some pretty crazy things. And as I said, this is pretty extensive and there is a lot of player involvement. So there's over 900,000 downloads, and most of all the uh, efficiencies, like gathering efficiencies have just been from the players themselves. So this is really player driven. At the bottom you can see like art, taming calculator, stat calculator, torpor timers, and there's even a special command if you're, say, an admin of a server, or if you have access to like the cheats. There's spawn commands, and every entity of like base things is going to be there. For the charts and data, there's recipes, gathering efficiencies, headshots, modifiers, stats, creature lists, all this. Social if you want to get in it with them, some of their partners or whatnot. But so let's get into the admin spawn codes. All right. So up here, this doesn't really matter for this page because you can just type in like we'll type in iguanodon, and if you press that, you're going to go to the iguanodon page. And since it's fairly new, and when I say fairly new, I mean really new. Like seriously, like they don't really have any data on anything. So let's go back and oh wow, that totally messed that one up. Okay, that definitely messed that up. Let's fix that real quick. So I went here, or no, I went to admin commands. As you can see, it's highlighted on my bar or whatnot. So up here, you can see you can change the dino level that you want to spawn it at, the XYZ coordinate axis. So 500 meters in front of you, I think. I don't really know how the XYZ axis works when you're in the XYZ itself, but so if you wanted, you could type in like 6, you can't really type in here, so you can just like bump it up, and then you can just say, let's type in a rock element, and see, rock elemental comes right up, and if you click on that, it'll say copied, and when you go into the game and you press tab, if you just Control P or Command P, depends on if you're on Mac or if you're on PC or whatever, same thing. But you type that in, you press enter, and the rock golem will spawn in front of you. Now, don't just spawn dinosaurs because some dinosaurs are aggressive, so they'll attack you unless you have the right command. But so we could spawn a rock elemental. This works for any known dinosaur. You could go to maybe Zomdodos are in. You could do Zomdodos, Rex. You can type in Rex. You can go down, scroll down, Alpha Rex, Dodo Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex. You can just see all that. But there's also a cool thing for if you want to spawn in like a cool item or an item in general. So we'll just type in metal ingot. So now metal ingot has come up, and as you can see, the quantity it will come out at is 1. So the very first number after the item ID itself. Some items don't have item IDs like this. It's not this simple, at least, an item ID number. Some are like saddle. As you can see, the Allosaur saddle, it gives you this big old long thing. Same thing happens out. So the very first thing after the item ID number, or the very last thing after the quotation, the very first thing after the quotations, will be the quantity. So as you can see, we change it, and so does this right here. Changes for all of them. So let's go back to metal, or let's go back to metal ingot. So we want to spawn 2 metal ingots. Now we can go up, and this thing allows you to go up all the way up to 100. So it might get annoying if you're trying to spawn like 1,000,000 metal ingots or whatnot, but we can just go with 50 right there. So you can't make a blueprint for a metal ingot because it's not in the game. There's different Xbox ID codes. See, the metal ingot for PC is 74, the item ID number, whereas the one for Xbox is 73. So you gotta make sure you click the right thing. But so say if you want to make a compound bow. Oh, doesn't help if I'm not typing there. Compound bow. So as you can see, now you're going to spawn 50 compound bows, and that's just not what we want. So we're going to bring this thing down real quick. Later in one of my other videos, I will also show you guys a really cool auto clicker that is not going to be blocked by anything, as far as I know. But you see this thing over here, quality. Now there is a certain breakdown of quality. 1 to 10 or something is just baseline, or no, 1 is baseline. So that means it's just primitive. But if you get up to 2, it's going to go to ramshackle as far as I know. Maybe it's 10, 2 for 10, it doesn't really matter. But Based on the quality, it will have higher item durability, and if it's a weapon, if it's like a weapon of some sort, like a compound bow, it will have more damage, so there'll be a higher damage percentage. And this can go all the way up to 100. Now, if I remember correctly, 90 to 100 is ascendant quality, meaning the very best of the best. But that does not mean that 100, like if you spawn something in a quality 100, and you spawn like say 20 of them, they're not all going to be the same percent of damage and durability. Some will have higher durability and higher damage. Some will have lower durability but much higher damage. It's really random because there's still a breakdown throughout. It doesn't even matter exactly. A 100 quality 100 of the same item can be completely different. One can be pathetic or weaker than a mastercraft, while others can be far exceeding the power and durability of one of those. But now, say you wanted to make a ramshackle compound bow, and you don't want to have it just spawned in, you want to still have to work for the resources. You can go here and make sure the quality is, this is for sure ramshackle. I know that much. But then you go over here to blueprint. You click on that, and as you can see, it adds a number at the end. Did it? Actually, no, I don't know. Yeah, it changed the very last number from 0 to 1. So that means you want the blueprint of it, and it will give you a blueprint that lasts forever, of course, and it will be a ramshackle compound bow blueprint, which is pretty cool. And you can even do this for Xbox. So you just make sure you're doing the right thing. You see, this one has the exact same item ID for Xbox, which is cool. So let's get into the taming a little bit. As you can see, this is the rock elemental right here. We all know that, of course. Up here, you can change the level. You can change it to 200. Bam. You can change the taming as well. So say you're at 15 times taming, and consumption is like, that was backwards. Say it's at 1,000. So you just go up here, and it will calculate it for you. It should calculate. And you're going to need 6 mantis kibble. Well, you can't change the consumption multiplier apparently. Well, I won't run off that. But with 15 taming multiplier, you just go back to 1. You'll get 6 mantis kibble required for that. Whereas for a official server, the mantis kibble will be 90 mantis kibble, 78% effectiveness. Meaning, that's kind of screwy though, because on official, is it even possible to get 100% taming effectiveness? I don't know. I don't play on official, but I have friends who do, so I should ask them. But as you can see, it will also show you how long it will take. So that's for 200. That's higher than unofficial. We can go to 150 because that's as high as it goes, as far as I remember. There's 150 for the center and whatnot, and so. Now it's a lower level, it'll require 70 of that. It'll take 50 minutes and 58 seconds. It will require no form of narcotics, no biotoxin, narcotic, narco berries, none of that. It'll be 82% and will come out at level 211, which is pretty killer for an official server. Now you can see what else they will eat. The very first thing that pops up is almost always the most effective form of taming item that they use. So there's the next runner-up is sulfur, and you're going to need a lot of sulfur. And I don't know, but I think that's pretty high for official. You also need 538 biotoxins, 1,071 narcotics, and almost 5,000 narco berries at 1.8% taming efficiency, gaining 1 level, which is very sad. Now, if you really want to go any further down the list, it's kind of sad. Clay, almost 2,000 clay, 27 hours. Oh my gosh, I didn't read that. Sulfur, 16, almost 17 hours. It's almost 28 hours for clay. There's basically, we'll call it 0% taming efficiency. It'll require all these super hard to get resources when you could just really just go after the mantis kibble. Although it is hard to find eggs for mantis kibble, because unless you start taming them, of course. But it's still pretty rare. They lay eggs ever so often, so you need some oviraptors for that. But it's much better to work to get the kibble because it's A, much quicker, requires no necrotics, and it's the best taming efficiency. Whereas all the other ones, over 1,000 biotoxins, that's very expensive. And stone, let's get down to business. Almost 4,000 stone, which I don't think you can carry that much stone on official. I know for sure you can't. So you're gonna have to make multiple trips that come with a dinosaur of some sort. And man, this is where it gets real fun. 120 hours roughly to tame it. 5,000 biotoxins, over 10,000 narcotics, and a little over 45,000 for stone, or for narcoberries. And there's literally 0 taming effectiveness. Now you go down here and it will show you how to knock it out if it's set up knockout tame. You're going to need 12 cannonballs, and when you're using a cannonball, be careful not to hit their body. You want to hit their head, because bodies will do full damage and do massive damage to the dinosaur, but they will also not give as much torpor. So this 12 could turn into 36 because it's only a third. And then there's rocket propelled grenades, RPG shells. 56, and again you gotta hit them in the head. And if you have a lot of time on your hands, you can throw boulders at them with a boulder cannon, boulder launcher thing in the game that nobody uses and barely knows exists. So there's that, and that's basically all the things you need to know for taming. If you go down here, you can see the stats. We're going to cover this in a second. Their number 3rd stat, boom, out of 85 dinosaurs, stamina, blah, blah, blah. This is their base at level 1, which is stellar, man, stellar. And then this is their mantis kibble, where it's crafted, aka the cooking pot or the industrial cooker. Shows you need mantis egg, citronal obsidian, mayoberries, fiber, and water. And it shows you what's preferred by, but it wouldn't be showing you if they didn't like it. This is how you make the saddle. 270 hide, 150 fiber, and 35 metal ingots. It requires 40 engram points. You learn it at level 65. Crafted in the smithy, and you can see all the other meta styles lists. But this is where you get into the tips and strategies from other like-minded players. You can see the dates posted. You can say, you can see how many points it's been voted up or whatnot. I'm guessing. I don't really know exactly. This shows you the type of combat it is, aka it's an encountering. So if you encounter it, run. For this one's a taming one. If you do this on an official server and use stone, you are one crazy arc player. So it had to do with taming and KO, and other players thought it made sense, so they upped it. But also there's some useful comments. Taming KO, use the formula y equals blank 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 to figure out how many cannonballs are necessary to knock out the goal. Y is cannonballs, X is level. I suggest bringing at least 2 extra cannonballs. So just come over prepared when you're trying to knock out something, especially a rock golem. You don't want to bring the exact amount. You don't want to bring 12 cannonballs and get like a body shot, and it won't give it enough full torpor, because when you're using these kinds of knockout methods, it does not give torpor over time like if you shot with a trank item. It only gives it the burst of torpor, and it doesn't gain torpor. It stops it from gaining torpor, or from losing torpor, for about 15 to 30 seconds when you're using concussive damage like this. So if you shoot it, by the time you load it up again and you shot, there's no chance it could have lost any torpor. So, but it's still good to bring at least 2 extra. I like to double it, because I don't know about you, but cannonballs, I'm not the greatest shot, and when you're on the back of a parasurf, that's what you're using. Or if you are just running around like an idiot with an RPG shell, I really recommend cannon taming for these bad boys. But you might miss, or you might hit their body, and then you're just not going to get the torpor. Do not use boulders. So you can see their base stats, level 1 and whatnot, increases. It doesn't really matter per wild, and it doesn't give that much data for plus health. You can still up its health, and it's going to gain some health. Maybe it's just because it's a level 1, whatnot, but you can do absolute stats. A lot of the stuff shows the stat comparison, what they eat, or how to make what they eat, their saddles. But then there's all these other things. And then you go up here. Here's their taming, or their gathering efficiencies. They're 2.4 out of 5 rating for mushrooms, 3.2 for keratin, and you go all the way over here. Well, this doesn't go by highest. It just goes by what it can gather. It's not terrible for fish. It's pretty good for wood. Uh, all these are, it's pretty good. You go over, it's 3.0 for metal. Stone, it is the #1 stone gatherer in the game. But unlike the Castoroid and Thorny Dragon, it does not carry it at a lower rate. So just remember that. I suggest bringing like a Thorny Dragon out to follow you around so you can just pick all the stuff off of you, or off your rock elemental, just throw it in him so he'll do it alright. But, and then it shows you what can carry it. Nothing in its right mind can carry it. It also shows what can damage it. On official servers, this holds true. It can break stone, but it can't even touch metal. But you can still hit stuff through walls because it's a little glitchy. And some creatures can be affected by bolas and chain bolas, or different ways to snare them and stop them from moving. You can't stop him at all. It also shows you what he fits through. He'll fit through a door frame. Oh no, he won't fit through a door frame. Can't talk. The dinosaur gateway, he will fit through, and the behemoth as well. But that makes sense. If you can fit through the regular gateway, you can fit through the behemoth. This gives a little bit more information, or it says a little thing. Rock elemental is massive rock monster that is typically found disguised as stone formation. When a survivor enters its territory, it will begin thrashing and throwing large boulders. Once tamed, it can be a highly effective siege weapon to bring into battle. What does the rock elemental eat? This tells you what he eats. Rock elemental eats kibble, of course, sulfur, clay, and stone. So, unfortunately, before you log off, I mean, he has such a long starve timer that if you log on even once a day, you're good. But you can't fit stone, clay, or sulfur in feeding troughs, so you can't auto feed. So you're just gonna have to load the guy up with food, aka sulfur, clay, stone, and if you're really awesome, you can make kibble for the guy. But I would not recommend it because it gets expensive. But this shows everything he eats. And if you want to like see other dinosaurs, you can like go over here, the Equus. There's, as you can see, let's check out the Equus real quick. And as you can see, for full blank, download the Taming. It's because there's no data yet. It is planned to be released on March 31st. It is confirmed that you must ride it to tame it, which is super cool, but that's besides the point. People making stupid comments already, like, so rare, they're not even in the game yet. And then somebody's like, should we start preparing for the Ark Wild West DLC? And just a few jokes, but as you can see, it's just not useful data yet because they haven't, it's not live, so people can't give their information. Like, it might be really good at gathering thatch because it just kicks trees over or something, or it might be good at getting like berries because it just stomps all over the plants when they drop the berries. You don't know yet. But so let's check out some dinosaur stats. So the Ark creature stats. I can't highlight the entire thing because I'm dumb, but this shows in the game what is the very best, and following up for it only really shows the top 10 for pictures, of course, because top 10 you don't really care about the other ones. But you go up here, and Titanosaur is #1 for health. You follow down, the Giga is the second, Rock Golem's #3, as I said before. Mosasaur has quite a bit of health, and it just goes down the line. So you can see what's the best out for each stat, which can be useful. So let's go over here to the Raptor stat calculator. So you find a level 20 Raptor out in the field, right? Let me just open this up for further. So you find a level 20 Raptor out on the field. One of these guys. We all hate Raptors, especially early on, but they're easier on later. So you can go here, and it has points to give out, right? So this is its base, right? Let's say your Raptor has 310 health. We can just start making other stats up. 180, 210, food, 1800, weight, we'll give 200, even though it's ridiculous. No, we'll just give it 160. Oh man, that's even too high for that. Alright, so apparently he's average weight. Melee damage 145. That's a little high for what he can do. 123. But so these are all made up stats, so they don't really work. Oops, looks like your creature stats are too big. 110. So you can see this. So as you can see, it has all these points put into stats, and this is just wild. And so at the bottom you see wasted points. Basically what wasted points are is points put into speed, because when a wild dinosaur puts points into speed, because it's randomly generated that way, it doesn't get any faster. All dinosaurs have a base speed that they start out at. Now, taming it with kibble or something, or having a higher efficiency, will make it come out at a higher speed. But speed for wild dinosaurs means absolutely nothing, and it's a waste of a level up, or one point into a level. So this one only has 1 point, means 5% of all of its points are wasted. But then you come down here, and it gives you this super cool spreadsheet of the stats that have been so perfectly put in. And as you can see, its food super high. Its oxygen ain't half bad. It's pretty high on oxygen. But then its melee damage, health, stamina are all a little bit, they're about basic, we'll call it, average. And then its weight's actually a little higher, which is super cool. This goes down, just goes into it a little bit. Somebody made this super cool video about how to breed super dinos. I watched it, and it really goes over this in depth, the whole wasted points and point system, and how to get the actual best dino. Because unlike as said in the video below, just because it's the highest level possible, highest wild possible level, does not mean its stats are good. Because a 150 stats can be much lower than even level 100. And sometimes certain even low-level dinosaurs will have every point put into, say, health. So their health will be so much greater than a dinosaur, or the same dinosaur at the same level, unless all their points were put into health. But that's just that. So, as you can see, I suggest watching this video if you're learning how to breed, or if you want to be better at breeding, because I thought just breeding the best dinos was the best way to go. Or the highest level dinos was the best way to go. It's not how it works. So, let's go over here to Raptor torpor time. So level 20, in 14 minutes and 32 seconds, it will wake up. Now, you click on that one used, this will give you, you can like set this cool timer. So like, it'll go off 5 minutes before. You can set like 1 minute, so if you're, or 1 minute, 51 minutes before, I don't know. So you can just press start timer, and I don't know what, okay, the timer is ticking down now. So you pause timer. Oh, you pause timer now, bam, just like that. And then it shows you how this all works. But basically, I really recommend using Dododex. It comes on, I think, every app store. You can get on your tablet, your smartphone. You can't download it on your PC, but really, you don't need to download it because you have it on the internet. Unless you don't have an internet connection, maybe there's some other way. But also, as you can see all the way at the bottom, it shows its partners, aka like the Arc paint, paints and templates. So if you want to like find an easy paint to just throw on your dinosaur without having to actually get artistic, because some of us just aren't, myself included, you can go to that website. Champion Arc servers just shows you other like unofficial servers, or maybe official, I don't know. But I suggest getting Dododex if you're trying to get better at the game, or if you're just trying to take your game to the next level. I want to thank you all for watching, and it would really help me out if you subscribed. Well, it would really help me out if you hit the thumbs up button, and if you like this content and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try to give little guides, things like this, once a week. I'm going to have my other videos throughout the week, maybe 1 to 2 a week of those. But I'm going to start with one of these little tips and tricks and resources you can use. So thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, and thumbs up, because that's saying the same thing twice. Wrektar out.